Russian mercenary group Wagner claims legal control of the Ukrainian city of Bakhmut, which was bombarded after months of heavy fighting. Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin said his fighters had captured the town hall in the area. He posted a video on his Telegram channel showing him holding the Russian flag. By law, Bakhmut has been taken by Wagner. The enemy is concentrated in the western areas, said Yevgeny Prigozhin, quoted by Sky News. He added that the Russian flag had been hoisted with the words, "Good memory to Vladlen Tatarsky." Vladlen Tatarsky was a Russian military blogger who was killed by a package containing an improvised bomb in a cafe on Sunday. Ukraine denies Wagner claims on Monday. The Ukrainian side said its forces were still holding off the enemy in Bakhmut. After Wagner's video was released, Ukrainian military leaders said enemy forces had tried to take the town, but their forces had repulsed more than 20 enemy attacks. The Ukrainians say the town of Bakhmut is so far from taking Bakhmut town that fighting is still raging around the administration building, where Wagner claims to have raised the Russian flag. Additionally, there was no indication from Ukrainian officials that Bakhmut had been taken by Wagner. Bakhmut is Ukrainian territory, and they haven't caught anything and are very far from doing this, said spokesman for the Eastern Military Command, Serhiy Cherevati, quoted from SCMP. Good. Let them think they took it, he continued. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian army also claimed fighting was still going on in Bakhmut and they were trying to defend the town. The enemy continues to attack Bakhmut city. However, our defenders bravely defended the city, the military said. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky praised the defense of Ukrainian troops in Bakhmut on Sunday. Thanks to our soldiers who fought in Avdiivka, Mariinka and Bakhmut, President Zelensky said in his evening video address. Especially Bakhmut. It's very hot there, he continued. Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister, Hanna Maliar, previously described the situation as very tense around the city. Ukrainian troops were holding their positions, and Russian troops paid little attention to losses when they attacked, said Maliar. Russia arrests woman over death of military blogger Vladlen Tatarsky. Russian authorities have arrested a woman in connection with the homemade bomb that killed military blogger Vladlen Tatarsky on Sunday. Daria Tryapova, 26, was arrested for handing over a TNT-laden statue to Vladlen Tatarsky that exploded in a St. Petersburg cafe, Russia. CCTV footage shows Daria carrying a cardboard box and walking into the venue, where Vladlen Tatarsky is leading the discussion. Daria Tryapova was seen wearing a long, dark coat. He handed over a statue of Vladlen Tatarsky, which was said to be a gift in the box, quoted from AP News. Daria introduces herself as an artist who wants to present a gift to the hero of Putin's special military operations. Before the bomb exploded, Daria joked with Vladlen Tatarsky about the security guard at the cafe, asking if what he was carrying was a bomb and asking him to put it at the door. However, Vladlen let him in with the box. Vladlen Tatarsky issued a golden head-shaped statue, which is called a replica of Vladlen Tatarsky. An eyewitness named Elisa Smatrova said that the woman immediately avoided Vladlen Tatarsky after giving the gift. He, Vladlen Tatarsky, said, "Sit here," said Elisa, imitating Vladlen's words to Daria. However, Daria refused and said she was shy and preferred to sit by the window. After Vladlen Tatarsky put the statue on the table, suddenly smoke came out and an explosion occurred. The head-shaped statue turned out to contain 450 grams of TNT. The arrest of Daria Tryapova is said to have fled the scene. He was reported to have booked a flight from Pulkovo Airport to Turkey several hours later, but he never showed up at the airport to this report. His flat is raided by police to arrest him. Local Russian media said her mother was also arrested after the Russian Interior Ministry put Daria Tryapova on the wanted list. Officials are now said to be browsing his conversations in private web chats, according to the VCKO-GPU Telegram channel. The messages reportedly suggested he had come to St. Petersburg from Moscow last weekend and intended to fly overseas, namely to Tbilisi, the Georgian capital, via Istanbul. Daria had breakfast with a friend on Sunday and texted him after the explosion. "I could have died there. I would rather have died there," "I was arranged," Daria wrote in the message to her friend, quoted by BBC International. He is alleged to have changed his Messenger account settings for the first time in 7 years. Daria Tryapova's boyfriend, Dmitry Rylov, who is a member of the Russian Liberation Army, believes Daria has been framed. He is also wanted by the secret services and has been detained at anti-war protests with his girlfriend. "I believe that my wife was framed," says Dmitry Rylov. "I firmly believe that he could never do such a thing on his own accord," he said. Dmitry Rylov said he and Darla did not support the war in Ukraine, but also did not justify retaliating with attacks. "Yes, Daria and I do not support the war in Ukraine, but we believe such actions are unacceptable," Rylov said, quoted by The Telegraph. Daria Tryapova's interrogation. In brief excerpts from her interrogation released by the ministry, Daria Tryapova appears under duress with repeated sighs. His interrogator asked him if he knew why he was being held. "I would say being at the scene of the murder of Vladlen Tatarsky. I handed over the statue that exploded," said Daria. When asked who gave it to him, he replied, "Can I tell you later?" Russia's counterterrorism committee accused the attack of being organized by Ukrainian special services in collaboration with opposition leader Alexei Navalny. Alexei Navalny has been in prison since returning to Russia from Germany in January 2021. He also compared what he called the lack of reaction in the Tatarsky case to the response given by U.S. media and officials to the arrest of Wall Street Journal (WSJ) reporter Evan Gershkovich in Russia. "We believe we are witnessing a certain selective approach to what happens to journalists," said Nebenzia. Russia is angry because the United Nations, UN, and the International Association of Journalists seem not to care about the death of military blogger and Russian journalist, Vladlen Tatarsky. Russia's envoy to the UN, Vasily Nebenzia, told a news conference Monday that there was a selective attitude between the UN and the association. Yesterday, a Russian blogger and journalist, Vladlen Tatarsky, was killed. The United Nations, the Association of Journalists, have absolutely no reaction to this crime, Nebenzia said. Quoted from the Russia Today page, Tuesday, he conveyed these words when the Office of the Secretary General of the United Nations expressed his concern over Tatarsky's death. The office will wait for further information, as spokesperson for UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres Stefan Dujarric told a briefing on Monday. Previously, Tatarsky was killed in a bomb blast that occurred on Sunday while meeting with his followers in a cafe in St. Petersburg. The Kremlin is characterizing the incident as a terrorist attack. The Russian Interior Ministry released a video showing the main suspect in the case. It was a woman identified as Daria Trapova, who admitted to bringing an improvised explosive device to the event. The incident sparked little reaction among Western officials or international organizations, despite being covered by Western media. On the other hand, the case is being compared to the arrest of American journalist Evan Gershkovich, who was arrested in Russia last week on suspicion of espionage activities. The arrest of the WSJ journalist even attracted the attention of the U.S. government, which is working to free him. According to Russian authorities, Gershkovich was caught trying to obtain state secrets under the guise of journalism. His arrest prompted U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken to call Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov to discuss the matter. The WSJ also demanded that all Russian journalists and the country's envoy be expelled from the U.S., saying that was the minimum hope in this case. Meanwhile, the Kremlin dismissed such demands as absurd.